Hey, what's going on? Y'all know what time it is. I told y'all we was gonna be in the ATL chilling with my man. So y'all know who I am. I'm Coach Chain.
Coach Cat, man.
And it's the Crunchtime Survivors show, baby. Hey, now to introduce the man, Diamond, Billboard 100 top 3 spot. Best dance, producer of the best dance song ever. I here bring you BOLO. The producer, baby. Hey, BOLO, what's up, baby? Hey, man. Let's get this straight right now. Man, tell the people where you from, man.
I am from Tampa, Florida. Not outside of Tampa. Not into Notasassa. Not Bradenton. Not St. Pete. But I live in Tampa, Florida, 33610. That's where I'm from.
Man, y'all heard the zip code, so man, y'all heard it here first. My man is homegrown. Yeah, he in the ATL. That's where he resides. But where he was brought up and born, he told y'all what time it was. Hey, man, coming up, let's get right into it, man.
Oh, boy.
Let's get right into it, man. You know, we go way back. I'm talking about 95, 94, 95. We go way back. Man, people don't know the basis of Crunchtime Survivors. Let me go ahead and get this out right now so I can explain to you about what we are about. We're about people that survive adversity, whether it was through sports, whether it was through hip hop, whether it was just being a person going through life and making it on the other side of adversity. So if you was ever in a position in life to where you had to, fight through it, get on the other side of it, and now you're here to tell your story. This is just what this is about. So we use sports, we use music, we use life lessons in this podcast for all walks of life to come express these stories. So coming up, man, I met you at Chamberlain High School. While I was at Chamberlain, you was at Van Buren. I kind of recruited y'all to come to Chamberlain to play with me at a track meet one night. You might not remember that, man. Man, is it true? Now, I know you was an athlete, but were you dunking a basketball at 13 years old?
13 years old. I learned how to dunk at Sly Junior High School. And the reason why I wanted to dunk is because it was a guy that lived in my neighborhood who was the ultimate athlete at the time that everybody looked up to as being an athlete, and that was Kevin KJ Harris.
Okay. We had KJ on.
Yeah, KJ was like, if you was an athlete in my neighborhood, which I grew off of 22nd and Sly, basically, we was that neighborhood that was adjacent to all the neighborhoods. So you had the Springs behind us. You had Riverview Terrace to the side, Woodland Terrace to the side, up the street.
34.
Yeah, 34. So we was right there. So we had our own little crew. You know what I'm saying? So KJ was like the one that everybody looked up to when it came to sports, basketball, football, baseball, all that. So when I used to see him dunk, he was probably dunking when he was like 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, every day I used to go outside in the PE and I used to just dunk every day. So when 13, I finally got that bad boy in there.
13.
Man. So now y'all done finally made it to Chamberlain. I see y'all on campus, man. And I must say you were quite the athlete. But you was one of those guys that were so athletically gifted that it was just hard for you to pick one sport. What all sports did you play in high school?
I played football, basketball, and track.
I remember you in football and basketball, but what was did you long jump?
I did long jump and high jump, and then I ran the 400, and then finally they let me run the first leg of the 4x1. They thought I was too slow, but I wasn't that slow.
I know you weren't slow.
How big was you at that time?
I was 6'2", 220 at that time. 220, 225 on good days.
Boy, that's crazy.
And what grade was that?
Yeah, this senior year.
Dang, boy, yeah, you was nice size, man. You were a pretty good athlete. Now, you went through sports, you went through high school, graduated from Chamberlain High.
Almost ain't make it.
Yeah, but we did. We here. What your girl say? I might be black. I might be ugly, but we here. Yes, sir.
We here. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now, after graduating from Chamberlain High School, where did you attend college?
First school, and this is let me say this for even people who are young or parents who got kids.
Right.
Try to tell your kids to make the right decision the first time, because you don't want to be bouncing around. chasing the dream. But my first option I should have just took my butt over to Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, where I was.
So, but what I did was I started off because I had offers to go to school to actually play tight end and defensive end. But I didn't want to go because at that time I was playing running back. And I wanted the whole glitz and glamour of being a running back instead of listening to.
Yeah. Listen to who? Tell him. Look at the camera and tell him. Instead of listening to me.
Listen to him.
Now, hold up. Now, I'm interrupting because right now I got a price on my head. I got a dude who say he listened to me in 2001 and I ruined his career being the next Warren Sapp, his dreams. Like, man, this dude crazy, man. Like, man, I'm really like, man, it's crazy. But go ahead and finish, man. So listen. So let's listen to Coach, man. He gonna tell his story.
So I had offers to play at a few schools. I even had an offer to go to, nobody really knows, it was to Colorado State. I did not know nothing about Colorado State. I didn't know nothing about it. I thought it was like a little school. I had some interest from there and could have went there to visit on my own terms.
Right.
So it wasn't like they were taking me out to fly there. It was a coach out there. And he was a new coach. And I was like, nah, I ain't going to do it. And you know what I'm saying? Should have tried that out. But then from that point, I ended up going to a small school called Marietta in Ohio. Ended up playing ball there. Was to the point to where I was really good at that point.
Right.
But it was like a lot of just, most people say, the reason why I stopped cut my knee.
Yeah.
It wasn't because of my knee. I wasn't motivated. I was homesick. And there was a lot of nagging injuries, elbow injuries, pulled my MCL. I always had ankle problems, broken fingers, stuff like that. And then I just kind of lost the love for it because I thought I was going to be, this big recruit somewhere. But, everybody feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up leaving there, ended up going back to Bethune-Cookman. Shout out to Coach Fagan at Bethune-Cookman. He was keeping his eye on me the whole time. And then I left Bethune after a summer, ended up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama at Stillman College. Mm-hmm. They had a startup program there. And when I got there, I was like, this is it. Startup program, everything's going to be good. But then when I got there, it was 350 other people that was there. And some of the coaches already had some people that they were kind of recruited up there. Right. And I kind of just really lost the love for it. I really kind of lost the love for it. And it was just like an eye-opener because I was like, dang, I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, what I'm going to do now? And then so I had to stay, I had to stay in sports somehow. So I ended up just playing different sports there. And then
tell them what you played now.
Oh yeah, one thing I ain't gonna do. I ain't never gonna shy away.
Now tell them what you played now.
I ended up playing tennis.
Okay.
I ended up playing tennis
at 6'2", 250.
6'2", 250. But I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Tennis got me a scholarship. I traveled because I never played tennis. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest. I joined the team because we had a cool coach, and he used to let us travel.
Yeah,
co-ed travel.
Co-ed, though. You had to make sure you said co-ed.
Co-ed travel. We got to go to all the schools. I ended up doing some stuff with NAACP. I ended up traveling all around the country with it. It was fun. It was a new sport. It was fun. It was challenging. And I got to meet so many people, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. It's just that was I the top player? Because you got to think you was playing against some people that was
playing since 8 years old.
6, 7, 8 years old. But I ended up working my way from being the last person on the team all the way to the top person on the team. Okay. My last year. And then I got to, like I said, I got to represent everybody at the NAACP. They had a big meet that they have every year that they fly out either California or Texas.
Man, speaking of Stillman, man, I like to get this guy a shout out every chance I get because he's really like helping lives in the Tampa Bay community. Coach Teddy Keaton at Allen University.
Yes.
Man, he didn't have nothing but great things to say about you, man. A couple of my ball players went up there with him, man. And when I tell you, man, he's doing great things at Allen. And when I told him I was interviewing, he told me, man, call Bolo up, man. Call Tim up, man. I'll tell you about them guys, man.
Nah. Coach Teddy was, you know what I'm saying? Because Coach Teddy really worked his way up to that position. Right. It wasn't like he was just like a head coach, because at the time we had a coach who was like kind of like a legendary coach, He was older. He just passed. I forget his name right now, but Teddy started off on that staff, and then he worked his way up by just being diligent, learning the sport, learning how to coach. That's the problem. A lot of people do not learn how to coach and know how to, because coaching is one thing to where it's, okay, yeah, you can teach positional things, whatever, but sometimes you got to coach the coaches other than coach the players. And sometimes a good coach can keep your star players or keep certain players in line, in a sense. So you got to know how to, run the whole show in a sense, but still make everybody happy at the same time and still make everybody feel like they need to work for a certain goal. And everywhere he's been, from the pro league to the semi-pro league to the college league, Teddy has always had success. And shout out to Teddy Keith, man. Good guy.
And them Allen University
and
Yellow
Allen
Jackets,
University.
man.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Allen University.
I want to ask you something about that. So when you say that process about with school, what do you think would be better for us, because as a community? Because it's a lot of times when we go to college, like my brother and my family was the first one.
Yeah.
And he went kind of through the same thing and didn't know about this college. What you think would really help us out more with that process?
I think you have to expose yourself to that. The good thing about me is my mom went to Bethune, so I was exposed to the whole black college experience my whole life. I think that more people need to be exposed to it. That's why I kind of like here, because like this weekend they have a big college football game at the stadium,
right?
And of course they have the AUC. They have a big college contingency here, and of course this is a chocolate city basically,
right?
Mm-hmm. So the first thing, even with guys who are even in the streets, even guys everywhere, the first thing they say is, I at least want to try it out. A lot of guys at least try to try it out. And I think that we have to expose our kids to that, to the college experience, because even though I'm a firm believer of kids getting a trade nowadays, because with the whole AI situation, stuff like that, I'm a firm believer of that. But I still think that college, one thing that college did, it teaches you about the real world. In a sense, how to live on your own, how to deal with adversity, how to deal with sometimes you might be broke, you might not have no money, how to survive in a sense away from home.
Right.
So what you saying, college will make you a crunchtime survivor?
It will make you a crunchtime survivor, because it definitely will do that, because when you're in college, especially back then, I don't know right now, the whole the NIL.
It's a little different.
But that still is the same, because it's only a few players who get those type of deals. But in college, we had to learn to survive. A lot of big football players will tell you when they was in college, especially guys in Miami, they'll tell you like they had to survive while they had a full scholarship being on TV in front of millions of people. Mm-hmm. So, it taught me about social skills too. It taught me how to be socially around people, because there's a lot of introverts and stuff like that, even in college, but you can almost tell somebody who went to a college out here in these streets, what I'm saying? You can kind of just see. But so it's good. I think it's good, but I still would say for everybody, like if you're not playing sports or whatever, go to a technical school and learn something that you can do
with your hands. Because you spoke on this AI stuff, and I've been preaching this forever. Parents, it's bigger than scoring football and dunking basketballs and being able to swim or going to the Olympics. Your kids need to learn trades now, because guess what? These computers can do a lot of jobs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you know what? They can't put pipe in the ground.
They can't do it.
They can't do that. They can't wire houses by themselves. So teach these kids trades as well as degrees and scoring touchdowns and all that. Now, what I will say, now I know you, before you went to college, we went through our whole high school tenure together and whatnot. And I never knew that you were so musically inclined. Right? I never knew that. Now, I knew you to dunk a basketball. I knew you was fast. I knew you could jump. I knew you can chew. I knew you could do all that, right? But I did not know in high school you were so musically inclined. How did you find your love for music? Like, how did you, become the man you are today from the foundation?
To tell you the truth, I never thought about doing music till I turned 19.
Okay.
I played drums in the church. My brother was the rapper. Jew was a rapper. He was in a group called the Ultimate Crew.
Yeah.
And they had a little success. They made it on WTMP.
That's big. That was big. That's big right there.
They made it on WTMP. They was doing their thing. And I was just a fan of music. One of my Favorite artists of all time. 2 favorite artists of all time. Still, my 2 favorite right now is Crazy and Rated R from Tampa, which I just did a song with Crazy. He keep blowing up my phone about it. I'm gonna make sure the song come out Crazy.
Mr. Don't Want to Leave the Club.
Don't want to leave the club. And I used to think, man, how can I get to these guys? How can I get to them? But I didn't start doing music until I got to Stillman.
Yeah, I'm gonna get.
So we used to beatbox and all that stuff like that in high school. But in church, if somebody wasn't there,
you had to get on the.
You had to get on the sticks. You had to do it. Or if somebody went on the organ, you had to figure it out. And just do what you had to do. And the good thing about my church is nobody was like, oh, he's not that good, don't get on there. They always encourage the kids to try to get into the church somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that's where it started at that point.
All right. So who was the first artist? Not superstar. Who was your first artist you worked with? Where you can say you put a project together, because now you put together one of my favorites. But who was the first artist you worked with?
First artist. So we got to go back. So I started doing music when I got to Stillman, of course, after I was like, okay, I'm not doing football no more. Right. This just ain't it. Even though they wanted me to still play, I just mentally wasn't there.
Okay.
I met a kid from Iowa. The first black person I've ever met from Iowa. I ain't know black people was from there.
I don't think I met nobody from
there. Yeah. Have you ever met a black person from Iowa?
I never met nobody from Iowa.
All right. So, but his name is Ty. We call him Ty Cutter. But Ty, we met. We was real cool, and he had a little computer in his room, and he was making beats on his computer, big ass screen.
Yeah.
And then me and him came cool, and from that day on, I was like, dang, boy, I like this right here. You know what I'm saying? And he went on to be on that song. He was the first person out of all us to get a deal. He did the song Tatted Up with Fable.
Yeah.
Okay. That's him on the hook and everything. Yeah. So he was in the group with that. He was the first one to get a big deal. And he got me into music. Him and another guy named DJ Stickerbush. He does a lot of the Trapping in the Basement with oh my God, not my guy. I can't believe I'm doing this right now. With OG, Bigger Rankin.
Bigger Rankin.
He does all the Bigger Rankin Trapping in the Basement. He does it actually at his house in his basement.
And prayers to Bigger Rankin with your journey you going through. Yeah, we watching, man. We praying for you as well.
Yes, yeah. He's still moving.
And he's still moving.
Every day. No excuses, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? But he they got me on. I used to just kind of follow them or whatever, and then I started doing my own thing. I had artists before that I put out. I had some guys from Mississippi and some stuff that I was doing in school. But the first big artist that I did like a real project was with Tom G.
Okay.
Tampa's favorite son.
Tampa's
favorite son, man. Hey, Tommy, we still got to get together, man. You playing. Playing.
So, he kind of kicked it off because we had a group called the QP Click, and we used to put out albums and stuff like that. Because, of course, I used to try to rap at one point.
Right.
Me and Jara had a group at one point, and I just was not the rapper like that. So I like to be behind the scenes, and I had a knack for finding people and putting them in groups and just trying to put it out and sell at that time. And I was making some pretty decent money doing it. Thomas was nowhere near on my radar.
Yeah.
Everybody kept telling me, it was my guys from Miami, like, man, it's a boy from Tampa, man. He over here rapping his ass off, man. You need to get him up. You can get him. I'm like, man, I got my guys here. I'm not dealing with nobody else. Yeah. And Tom was there for almost a whole year before he even made it over to my apartment.
Sorry, I didn't understand that.
I'm not talking to you.
She always out of line, period. And they make it a woman voice because she just want to be in control.
Yeah.
But man, go ahead, man.
But yeah, Tommy, he came to my house. Actually, I have my guy from Birmingham, my guy Hennessy. He came by, and then I think it was my sophomore year of school, junior year. They all came by my house on the first day of school. All these guys just came on my house, and then that day we just started the QP Click, and Tommy was kind of like the head of it. And I'm like, oh, he really can rap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
what year was this?
This was 2003. We actually is supposed to be dropping the 20th anniversary of the Man of the Hour.
Yeah, that's the best mixtape.
We have it. We got T.I. on it. We got who else we got on it? We have Shoot. Well, I know we got Tipo. We got a whole bunch of features.
But y'all missing one though. Y'all missing one.
Ooh.
You coach. What's wrong with you, man? You missing one. I'm gonna do it for free because it's you and Tommy. Anybody else? The price of the brick done went up. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but we got a lot of features on it. It's pretty much ready to go. I just got to finish the mixing on it, but I think he's doing a country album right now, so it kind of got pushed back. But when I come down, we always talk about it, get it done, because this is the 20th year. But I think it's gonna come out at some point. Okay. But yeah, we put that out, and we did all that in my apartment. We actually did that whole mixtape, and if you take all the time, it literally took about 3 days. Right. I made all the beats the same night. The Bucks won the first Super Bowl. I made all the beats that night. Oh yeah. 02, 03. Well, 03. It was 03. It was the February 03. Yeah. I made all the beats that night at Jaira's apartment at the time. And then he came, I would pick him up from class, we'd come back to my house, we record everything, I mixed everything up, put it out, and bam, it was done. And that was what kind of launched his career to where it's at right now, to where it ended up going further.
Now, I heard from my OC, Jaira, who was a reliable source, that y'all crew became a overnight success. Y'all were celebrities amongst that campus.
Oh yeah.
Y'all ran that city.
Yeah.
Now, be honest, was that the moment you knew that you was him as a producer?
That was not really. It was just like the moment I knew I got something that I can make money off of, and I ain't got to work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I wanted to always be bigger. Because when I would come here, we were big there, but when I would come here, people knew, but they didn't, because at that time, CDs and stuff would travel. Yeah. But we wasn't here yet, you know what I'm saying? And then we wasn't back home yet. And that was like a big thing for me, was being known back home more than anything.
So then, like, when you did that, what helped you? Because like you said, you really got into it. What helped you develop your sound like that? When you hear that BOLO?
Yeah.
Man, it really was just, I'm just making fun.
Okay.
Everything that I do is just making fun. Everything is just, if it sounds good to me, whatever, I don't care if it's R&B, I don't care if it's trap, I don't care if it's any type of music. If it sounds good to me, I'm gonna have fun making it. That's just pretty much that's my sound. It could be whatever.
Now y'all got the city attention. Things going great. I know at the moment y'all see that the stardom is rising. You see the fans, and you know you're on your way. And then bam, tragedy happens. You lose your mom, your biggest supporter. Mm-hmm. What kept you motivated in doing music and not just giving up?
The main thing was I had to, like, when that happened, it's like me and my brother was sitting there thinking, was like, man, we gotta, you know what I'm saying? He's already older than me, but I'm sitting there thinking like, man, we really gotta man up. So we both came back home to make sure my dad was straight. So, so we came home and I was like, man, I gotta do something. But thank goodness to Mama Shirley, she left us with something. It wasn't a whole bunch, but it was enough to say, okay, I can get me a car, a better car. I have enough money to build a shed in the back of my dad's house and to buy some equipment. And then from there, I had to thug it out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then, I got from that point and I got me a little traveling car, that little Honda CRV. Yeah. I bought that traveling car. We rode up to Tallahassee.
Yeah, TJ DJ.
Yeah. So I got that. I got a little bit of equipment. I couldn't get the equipment that I wanted, right, but I got just enough to the main thing was building out the studio. And I was like, if anything, what I want to do is, if I need to be as successful as possible. So I just went all in. And he know about some nights, because we used to be in there. If you was in that booth, you sweating. If you were outside the booth, you straight.
Just put it this way. You see this whole building. This is like the house Rick Ross on.
Yeah.
That shed was just this big. That included the booth and all that. So we were making bets who can get in the 1 or 2 takes, so you don't pass out in that booth. That's how hot it was.
You got to get by it. You got to get through the dogs.
Yeah.
To the studio, in the booth.
Nah, hold up. You got to get through the big dog first. They dad. No. Man. Plops ain't play, man. Plops ain't play, and you was gonna be respectful. Now imagine you in your 20-30s. Hey, yes sir, no sir. That's the type of respect you gonna give. So y'all young cats, y'all young fellas today, man, it was etiquette amongst people our age, man. Yeah, y'all need to pick some of that up.
Yeah, that's right.
Y'all need to pick some of that up. Now you move back to town for you regroup. you becoming this monster. You becoming this monster. What you felt like opened the floodgates for you to build a clientele in Tampa? Like what got people attention that made them want to deal with BOLO, the producer?
I don't know. It's just I was just ready. I was always ready to work. Like I had time. I was going to school at ACC. I was going to school at USF, and any time in between there, if I can get back to the house, if you were trying to record, at first I had a thing was I gotta let people know I'm doing this. So if you rap whatever and you seem cool, come on back. I'll at least do a session with you. If you like it, then boom, $25 here, $35 here, or whatever.
It was cheap then.
And there was no set time of hours, just come. If you want to do an hour, 2 hours, if you want to do 30 minutes, I'll prorate it.
Right.
So I had a whole bunch of people just coming by there. So now I'm making like $400-$500 a week just recording people. So I'm like, okay, boom. And I'm like, well, while I'm in there recording, I got some beats too. Nah, don't worry about that. I got some beats. I can make something to that right now. Boom. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make you a beat in 15 minutes. We're gonna get it right. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was doing. So I was making beats and I was recording people over and over and over and over and over again all day. The only times I didn't record was on Friday nights. Everybody used to just come to the house. We used to just chill, and then we would go to the club after that. And other than that, we right back on it.
So yeah, that sounds good. And I'm just saying, because for me, when I'm listening to it, I remember I heard that the song with 2 Pistols.
Yup.
I heard that song, and at that time, Pain was killing it.
Yeah, that's a story.
Yeah, because we want to know how did it make you feel to make the original track, the hit for so long? Because now you got Tampa Hill. You made the original track. Now, how did it make you feel when the song actually started to get pushed and it went international, where it went, global or whatever?
Yeah.
And your track went on there.
Well, initially, shout out to Dre, Big Dre Golden. He just moved up here. He set that up between me and 2 Pistols, and me and him was working for like a year prior to that. And we was doing some other stuff, and he was trying to do the whole promotional thing, this, that, whatever. And then one day, Pistols came to me and was like, yo, I'm going to make this move. I'm going to get T-Pain on the track. So he let me hear the original track, and then I was like, he said, I want you to make a beat for it. So I made a beat for it. Then we turned around and we switched the beat up before we sent it to Pain. And then Pain actually recorded it on a different beat. And then it was funny because when Pain and them sent the session back, we opened it up and Pistol's like, man, he changed the lyrics on it. And I'm like, bro, this is a hit. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, well, let's at least change the beat up. So we switched the beat up again, and then he went and he re-recorded it over that night and put it out, and it was like wildfire. Like it started moving all throughout Florida. It just started moving. And then, I'm thinking I know everything. I'm like, oh, I got a lot of ass cap, whatever. I think I know everything. And next I go to his MySpace page and I see that the Justice League remake it over. I actually reshare it because I'm happy. I'm like, okay, cool. There's no problem. He just did a remix of it, whatever. And I didn't think nothing about it because at that time I was getting so much. The song was so big, I was getting $800 here, $1,500 here, $2,000 here from dudes trying to, pay me for beats. So I really wasn't worried about it because I'm stacking my bread. I'm like, oh, this song brought me all of this. It wasn't until Tampa Tony called me, and he was with Akon's brother, Boo.
Okay.
They was in Fort Lauderdale, and basically they was trying to get the beat from me because R. Kelly was trying to do a remix to the song. R. Kelly wanted the song or something. It's something going on with that.
Right.
So I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna be moving to Atlanta in a couple weeks, so we can set it up, we can do whatever. So I didn't know at the time that he had already did a deal with the Justice League. Mm-hmm. I didn't know.
And Justice League is also
from Tampa. Yeah.
Also from Tampa. Yeah. Our city is filled with talent.
Yeah.
Come and holler at us.
Shout out to Brooke Coleon. Shout out to all them.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people ask me, like, how do I feel what I feel? And I didn't really understand it until I got here because everybody like, boy, that publishing check's gonna be crazy. I'm like, publishing? I'm like, I made some money. I made like $70,000 just to come up here and live. So I got at least 2 years to live up here.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, he's supposed to be making more than that. That song gonna be on the radio, this, that, whatever. That boy got a deal, this, that, whatever. I'm like, oh, I ain't know. And see, like most people, they would get mad. They would say, oh man, they stole my money, they did this and did that. But one thing that you gotta understand with a lot of stuff out here is you got to have accountability for yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't have nobody around. I didn't know nothing about it. So I cannot be mad at the situation because
You didn't know.
I didn't know the business of music.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody, they used to try to get me on interviews. They used to try to get me to talk bad. I would never do that because that is on me.
You held yourself.
Held myself accountable, but it was a learning lesson.
Because your ignorance was your innocence.
Yeah, because I thought I knew it. I'm like, oh man, I got everything. We did a little paperwork, some stuff I typed up, whatever. It's cool, but it at the time it was that, and I ended up learning again when I got up here.
Right.
Because we ended up finding some writers, and they ended up writing on the Jamie Foxx record, the Blame It record.
Oh, okay.
And they were like school teachers and stuff. They were from Texas, Note and Pharaoh. We ended up taking them over to another producer, a big producer we knew, taking them over there because Blame It was actually that was actually Young Jock's record.
Blame It on the Goose.
Yeah, Jock rapped on that first.
Yeah.
But then it switched from Jock to somehow a girl or a dude or somebody went to somebody else, and then it got to Jamie. And then he did it, Mr. Fox, Jamie Foxx. And then he did
shout
it.
out on his recovery too.
Shout out to Jamie's recovery. And then the guys that we had with us that we was like, yo, we're going to try to get y'all a deal. They ended up writing on the record. And once the record came out, we didn't do no paperwork. We didn't do nothing.
So y'all, you had your hand in writing it on Blame It?
Yeah. I got a Grammy plaque for that, everything.
So hold up, man. You helped write a song.
I didn't help write it. They wrote it. We had the artist. We discovered the talent and took the time where it needed to be.
So that's the business of it.
That's the business of it. But we didn't do any paperwork. We didn't know about any paperwork or anything because they was like, "Oh, we here. We doing our thing." And then from that situation right there, everybody, they think, okay, he's got his record. It's multi-platinum. You got to get paid from it. I didn't get paid from that one either. So that's two situations right there. And from that point right there, I told myself this would never happen again. And even people like Pistols, like, one thing I can say about him is he always looked out for me even after that, because he'd be like, man, I kind of feel bad about that situation. I was moving a little, whatever. I'm like, it's cool. We all make mistakes. So we end up doing some stuff with Jim Jones. We end up doing some stuff with a few other people. I got a few little checks from that point because I had my stuff right. And then it got me through the economic downtime through that point because it was real bad up here once that whole recession hit. You know what I'm saying? So it got me through that, and then then it moved me on to bigger and better things.
So what other notable names you work with in the industry?
I worked with pretty much at that time. I did an Echo remix with Kels, but that never came out. It was something through somebody.
Hold up, you call him Kels?
With Kels.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm not calling I'm not calling no grown man Kels. I'm not calling no grown man
But
Kels.
it was just something like,
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly,
okay.
did that, but it never came out. I ended up doing some stuff. I actually had a chance to actually even work with Drake at one point, but I messed that up. Cinco de Mayo, 2009. Messed it up really bad. He was in there working with Jeezy one night. My guy kept calling me. He was like, yo, we got this kid, Drake here, whatever. And the whole time I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, hush, another actor. Because I had Farnsworth Bentley come in before that, and then I had the other kid that was on Moesha. He came in maybe like a week prior to that. And I'm like, these actors, this, that, whatever. I didn't see it. I ain't gonna lie. Sorry, Drake. I didn't see it. But I wish I would have seen it because I actually had some dope ass beats that night. But it just, the butterfly effect. Everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? But I work with that, and I work with another really big artist who got his life got cut short. His name is Doe B.
Yeah, Doe B.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did Doe B. He was going to be huge. And I ended up doing 3 songs on his biggest project. I ended up doing Trap Music, I Don't Give a Fuck, and Smile on his project. And on that project, it was me, Zaytoven, Southside, TM from 808, Metro Boomin, Honorable C Note, KE,
names, man.
Everybody on that album went huge, and Carlton Banks. And he does videos and stuff for a lot of people now, and he does beats for everybody. So it was a lot of big name producers on that before that time.
Man. So what is your most memorable moment in music? Like what was your greatest experience with music? Like there's something that you'll always remember, like I did that. Like
The most memorable moment of music, and this is gonna sound crazy, was the night we made Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay. But it wasn't when we was making it, it was when he presented it to me that night. Because the night me and Silento, well, I call him Rick, the night we was in the studio, we was actually working on another song because I had met him prior.
Right.
And then we was working on some songs, and he's like, hey man, I got this song. Man, I'm telling you, everybody gonna love this song. And I remember telling him, I said, this has got to be the craziest idea ever. And he'd been telling me about it for like 3 months, but prior to that, I was like, this is the craziest. But I'm gonna show you how God worked. Because we could have did the song 3 months ago. He actually could have got another producer to work on it. But with a hit record, it has to be the right song, the right beat, the right timing, the right everything has to be right to make a hit record.
all the planets have to align.
Everything has a line. And I kept telling him, like, this has got to be the craziest situation because everything in the studio that day was not working. The compressor stopped working. The interface that was there, it was something was going on with that.
What you mean the compressor?
Like the mic compressor, the preamp, everything.
Oh, I thought you were
messed
talking
up.
about like the AC or something.
No. It was it's just everything happened, but we still made it work. You know what I'm saying? We still made it work. Shout out to my guy Doe. We was working out of his studio. Because my other studio, it had AC problems and a whole bunch of building problems, and he let me use his studio, and then it was like a favor for a favor, and then I was still doing sessions out of here, so he looked out for me, and we got the song done. And I remember while we was recording the song, I'm like, damn, this little Negro, he was right. You know what I'm saying? That was the thinking, and I was like, but we're gonna see what happens. And that night, everything changed. I had just had twins a couple months before that. I was thinking about getting a job, and people were telling me, my own homeboys wouldn't even hire me because they're like, you don't need no job, bro. Like, you need to just stay on this. Because I wasn't even believing in myself.
Yeah.
And I already had records that were making me money, but I was like, I got to take care of my seeds. I got to do this and do that.
Yeah.
And then once I seen that it hit 1 million in like 5 days on SoundCloud, I was like, oh, Lord, I think this might be it.
Yeah.
Not only did it hit 1 million on SoundCloud, it was the number 3 song on the Billboard Top 100. It was named Soul Train's Dance Song of the Year, among just to name a few, right? And now this song done took flight. Video done took flight. Every child in America is doing it. The NFL celebrate doing celebration dances. You get the dunk, they whip it and they hey Q. And no, I ain't doing the dance because I'm too G. I'm too G.
Because trends now, when they hit they there for a while.
They hitting that ball. I think the NFL should have paid y'all because every time somebody scored, they were doing that dance.
We got paid.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
You got it's publishing. I learned all that after all them other situations. But yeah, that was like with that situation right there. It was a situation where it could have got out of hand at first, but I had to stick to my guns with it and say I got to do this the way I need to do it,
The right way.
Even though people were like telling me, no, you need to do it this way. And shout out to my homeboy, Big Wade, man. He's my guy from Belglade. He live up here. I remember he came to a meeting one time with me at the studio, and there was some stuff going on. And my homeboy told me straight up, he was like, bro, don't let nobody mess this up. You do it the way you want to do it. Don't let nobody corrupt this situation. This is your situation. You don't need nobody else. You do it. And so, of course, he was underage, but his aunt and uncle, they were real cool. Mm-hmm. They didn't really know about the game that much. Everything happened so fast, and I would present stuff to them, and then they'll be like, I think it's cool. We can do it, and they were very receptive of like getting it. Some things. One thing that I can't say this. One thing that his aunt and his uncle, they always believed in is he had to graduate.
Right.
So during that whole time, he was still going to RIAA High School up here, to a regular high school. Okay. So we would do shows and stuff, but he would have to be back enough time to go back to regular school. So imagine you have the biggest song in the world, and
you got to go back to school and do your homework.
Well, you just got to go back to school.
You gotta go back to school. You gotta do the homework. Somebody was doing that work for him.
Nobody was doing that work for him. So, but what you just explained to us, you was something like a mentor. But didn't y'all have something of a rocky road, so where things turn different?
It's always going to be like that, where you be around somebody that long and you have differences. Of course, he was young. He wanted to take over his career. And I used to tell him a lot of times, I used to tell him when he was on the road, I can't be here forever. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to learn how to do this. But I just want to just kind of just set it up to where you can, because you got to think, when he first started, he didn't know how to navigate through an airport. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of stuff that he had to learn. I can say is when we used to be in the hotels and stuff like that, I'd be like, hey, look, y'all do what y'all want to do. Y'all can walk around the hotel, because he had him and his friend Grant. Grant was his DJ. Y'all don't leave the hotel. He was very respectful. He loved kids. He loved all that stuff. Despite of everything that's going on now, I just know him for what he was then.
Right.
You would have that type of a situation, especially with any child who is coming into age, turning 18, and then you're having a lot of people saying things.
They say a lot of those child actors and musicians say once they become adults, life become hard for them, because it's just a different like transition in life, and say things go for the worse, they don't know how to adapt to it.
It comes so fast. When you have success that comes fast, nobody, no record company, nothing can train you for that. So when you have tons of people coming at you all the time, I'm not the cool person no more, because I'm saying the things like, I'm saying no. I'm saying you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And he's probably looking at it like, oh, he's trying to hold me back. He's trying to do this, he's trying to do that. In all actuality, I'm looking at it as, I'm trying to make this go further, because we have a hit. It's never about the first hit, it's always about the second hit.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have to, it really was no real artist development. You just kind of go about your way. It's not like other genres where they'll find somebody and they'll kind of like over 2 or 3 years develop this artist to get to that point. And then you notice a lot of times they actually have a little bit more longevity.
Yeah.
With hip hop and a lot of the kids stuff, it's like, oh, hit record, package it up, put it out, put them on the road, let's do this, go here. So it's a lot of stuff that, they feel like they could have done on their own. But in all actuality, not just with him, but with a lot of these kids, they have to learn how to be adults so fast around people who have been adults for
10 years,
10, 20, 30 years. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was rock and roll, stuff like that. But there's been situations that I've heard that other artists and other managers and other producers have been in way worse situations.
Way worse situations.
Yeah, so
y'all end up going separate ways.
Yeah.
And then going separate ways, the song still was doing this thing, the check still coming in, and then one day I see on social media, and then I'm actually watching the news, I see that he's arrested for murder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, how did that make you feel?
It was weird, because our last conversation before that, he had called me, I think that November, and this conversation started cool, but then it kind of like went off the rails a little bit, and I just hung up. I was like, I don't feel like dealing with it, because this is around about the time where he had gotten into some trouble in LA, which the reports say one thing, I kind of know more about it, and it wasn't like that. But I was going to actually go down to LA to get him back. But he came here, and all I can say with that situation is I just hope that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because that's not the Silento. That's not the guy I know.
Right.
But I heard the report the same day that everybody else heard it. And then I kind of called around and I kind of found out some other details and stuff like that, which I'm not even going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But it's an unfortunate situation, you know what I'm saying, how it all went down, because it hurt me. But the crazy part about it was a lot of people who called me after that. The same people who were like telling me, oh, Bolo, you don't need to be doing this. You need to get him with us or sign a management deal and do this, do that, because you're not doing this the right way. And these are the same people after the song sold 6 million records, saying that they were still doubting me and what I was doing.
And which is now Diamond.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but now it's like, these are the same people calling, oh man, I feel bad for you, man. I'm praying for you, this, that, and I'm sitting and looking to myself like, and that was a real big moment in history with me. It was like, this music game is full of really fake people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, shout out to my guy, shout out my guy, Drop, man. He ended up managing him for a while. He, kind of kept him straight and narrow. Shout out to Drop. And, with that situation, once a kid kind of grows into himself, he wants to do a lot of stuff on his own. And when you don't know about the game, you just say stuff. You start, you have, like I said before, if you don't know stuff, I try to pass it down. I used to try to teach them about the game. Hey, this is about publishing, whatever. But they're young. They're doing shows. It's girls. It's the cameras. It's limelight. It's people all around you all the time. So it's kind of they're hearing it, right? But are they? Like I always say, it's never about the conversation. It's about the comprehension.
Right, man, that's big, and that's something that's a jewel to take away from here today.
Yeah, if you think about like one thing, like because that's an unfortunate situation. What's the one rule you think before getting in this music industry? The one thing you need to know before anything.
The one rule is everybody is associates, nobody's friends. Everybody's associates, nobody's friends, and the other thing is be who you are through the whole situation. Be who I am, because after that Silento situation, I still, people still doubted me, like, oh, he doing this. But then I turned around and got another group by the name of the Taylor Girls. I basically told them, if y'all do what y'all are supposed to do, y'all can get a deal within 6 months. And truth be told, we did our first record in March. They got that deal in October. And that song just recently went gold last year.
So you have, what you would say, you have the secret recipe.
Back then I did, because with the algorithm and stuff, it's different now. Back then the algorithm was Wild Wild West. It was chronological time order, so I knew kind of how to do it. Right. Now it's like
the stream stuff a little different.
It's much different. And I do want to say this for everybody who's talking about streaming and all this stuff like that. Streaming is good. It made me pretty good. I'm doing pretty good for myself right now. So everybody who's talking about streaming, you just got to kind of understand how it works. Like, a lot of people I don't really deal with the streaming stuff because you only get this, that, and this. But the one thing that streaming does is, if you think about a song right now, back in the day, if you thought about an old school song and you want to listen to that song, what would you have to do?
Have to go and find a record. Have to go to Rocket Rod. You pretty much be lost.
Yeah. You would have to go. Sometime put gas in the car. Yeah. You would have to go spend your time, sit at the DJ stand, or go over here to Sam Goody or this, that, whatever.
Sam Ash.
You had to do all that stuff. Then buy the actual CD or buy the compilation CD for $10, $12, $15, whatever, or $5 or 3 for 10 or whatever.
Yeah. Shout out to my time.
Yeah. But now what you can do is play a subscription for $9, $10. And then while you're playing that record that you like, you're actually helping out that artist now, because now that person is getting paid. Because back then, once that song was on that CD, you didn't get paid until you bought that actual CD or that tape.
Yeah.
Now you can stream this now. So now it's people who were, they had all their money at first, but then the money's kind of dwindling. But then streaming comes around. Now I can play this person's song. Now this other person's thinking like, dang, I'm going to play this person's song. And now this person across the world is playing it. So now you're getting a streaming check now. And another publishing check for life, because it's coming in. Now, is it as much as it used to be? No, but it's more than what you had. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm a big component of streaming. Is there things they got to fix in it? Of course. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I like what I'm making. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I know what it's done for me, streaming wise. It takes a lot to make a lot of money. But, with how it is with these artists, these artists are making $70,000 to $80,000 a show.
I see that.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's why. So the 360 deal. What do you feel about that?
It's 360 deal is fine with me because of this. Say for instance, you find an artist, or just anything. I'm not even talking about music, right? Just whatever. Say you find a product, and you build that product. You put your money into that product, and then that product starts to sell. Okay. You put your money in that product. What do you want back from that?
Money.
You want your money back.
Yeah.
Okay.
With interest.
with interest in the product. Okay. Now with a 360 deal, you got to look at it like this. What people fail to realize is a 360 deal is not like they just come and just. We was in basically a 360 deal, right? But they never came for our show money, like our spot show dates. Now we was doing like a tour. That's one thing, but like spot show dates, they didn't care about that. You know what I'm saying? Now we were selling merch. That would be that too. But basically, once you paid off that deal, you were fine. It's not as bad as what people think because first of all, a lot of these artists ain't got no money to spend $500,000, $600,000, $800,000, $1 million on a project. They don't have it. Some of these people are flat broke by the time they get to a deal.
And then what if, see, the reason why I don't have a problem with it once I read up on it, because it's a gamble for the person that's investing the money. Because what if those records don't sell, but the shows are selling? That's some people might like your mixtape songs, but don't like the streaming stuff,
right?
And they're not buying the record, but they're getting shows.
I tell everybody this: if you don't like 360 deals, go get you your own artist and spend your money on that artist. And you will see why I think it's like 95 or 98% of the artists that big record companies sign, they end up losing on. It's like the top 3 or top 4 that keeps those buildings open.
It's that turnover rate that bad.
It's that bad. Because you see some people that have a song, a hit record.
Yeah.
But you won't see them no more. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these artists it's a lot of artists that are signed to record companies right now that you'll never hear. Because they have a song that was kind of okay in their hometown, it was getting big, and their area is getting big, we're gonna sign them. And then you be like, oh, you're like, what's your name? Okay, yeah, I rap too. Yeah, I used to be signed to Universal. Oh, you did? I didn't even know that. It's a whole bunch of artists like that. So record companies lose a lot. But that's why the top artists, they got to keep those on deck, and they always going to sign stuff. They're always going to sign stuff. They're going to sign this and sign that. But you got to put money into these projects. So, you know what I'm saying? And if they're losing, and I've had plenty of artists that I've signed or whatever, put money into it. Some I made my money back, but on most of them, I have not made my money back.
All right, so let's keep it a buck. All right, we're gonna keep it a buck, and give me your honest opinion. How do you feel about the transition of music? And do you feel like music still have its substance as it did like in the mid 2000s to the mid 2000s to about the early 2000s to the mid 2000s? Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest like this. When we used to be in high school freestyling, okay, everybody freestyle like that.
Yeah.
No, everybody. Some was okay.
No, some people was okay.
Some people okay. When some people used to sing at them talent shows, were they good or some of them pretty bad too?
Some of them was pretty bad,
but they had an outlet to showcase their talent.
Right.
With the way we can have home studios, and now with the way we can upload our songs to iTunes, now people have a outlet to showcase their talent, whether it's good or bad.
Right.
So with that, that's what made things change. But this is the thing about it. People back then, companies used to kind of choose the records that you heard. Now it's people that can choose the records
they want to hear.
But it shows something. It shows that people hear something totally different from what the gatekeepers or the companies actually hear, because people they don't know the difference between a good and bad mix. A lot of people don't know the difference between a good and bad note, but it shows that a lot of people like songs just for the feeling of it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I heard Sexy Red, I knew it was gonna work. I knew it was gonna
what was
work.
that? What song she sang?
I'm not.
Man, yeah, I'm not singing that. Men shouldn't sing that song.
Nah. I thought you were trying to set me up.
I wasn't gonna make you do that.
Nah, but
what she say on it?
But no.
No.
I catch you selling. I catch you singing pound down, boy.
But
Mr. Junior's gonna go crazy.
But the thing about it is when I heard it, because I remember the first record that she put out, and then I heard that and I was like, that's the same girl. And I do the funny reels and stuff, so I put it on my page because I was like, this is gonna work, and it already was going that way. And I knew just by her being authentic to herself, you know what I'm saying? it is what it is. It's gonna work because right now, I think it's not even about being. We're in the authenticity age right now. Are you the realest person? Are you really doing this? Are you really doing that? Are you really so? Are you really like that? She over here taking off her wigs, you know what I'm saying? She got Free My Baby Daddy on her shorts and stuff like that. It's authentic to where she's from, and people enjoy seeing authentic stuff.
No, she has fans.
She has fans.
Like Glorilla. Like, to be honest with you, that's why God signed her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The song she made, you know, F Free.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of women in the hood could relate to that. Now, people half of these people, like you say,
shout out to Hit Kid.
Hit Kid.
Shout out to Hit Kid, because I wish those two could work a lot more, because I think if they could work a lot more, because Hit Kid and Glorilla were like how me and Silento were.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And I hope that they can get back to making music together a lot more, because I think that would, just industry wise, that would it would be like, oh, they back together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Hit Kid too, because he's doing a lot of good stuff. Yeah. Sound together, like when you just, it's like that Gucci and Zaytoven sound. It's like
when you hear it, you know it's a hit.
Yeah,
Rick Ross and Justice League.
Yeah, and Toop and T.I.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I was telling Toop the other day on the phone, man, when y'all gonna come out with another album? He like, man, we got songs, man, you know. I like, y'all need to do it just for the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you something. Like, what would you tell a rapper, a young rapper? Because I got my little partner in the city, Q4, off 2-4. I told you, Coach got you, man. I told you, Coach got you, man. And you know he doing some nice things. You know, Fee dealing with him. Fee was dealing with David. They were dealing with him. And Q got some nice sounding music, man. I'm sending you away. What would you tell him? What do he need to do first?
The first thing he needs to do is just make music and let other people deal with everything else. It's when people try to do too much, then you start getting lost in the sauce in certain things. If he's a good artist, let him be an artist. He needs to find the best producers. He needs to work on his craft. That's the number one thing. And then, of course, you have to release music.
Yeah.
I see so many people got thousands of songs on their hard drives not doing nothing. You got to release music. You got to release music, and you got to release visuals to all of your music down there. So that's the main thing. And find people that you can trust that can do the outside work and put your faith in them to do the work.
Okay.
If they can do it, they can do it. If they can't do it, it's time to realign yourself with somebody else. It's as simple as that. I tell people all the time, listen, I know you're with me, but if I can't deliver what you want, it's okay for you to do what you want to do, but I'm going to stick to my guns and what I do. Right. And some people stayed, some people left. You know what I'm saying? And it just is what it is.
So what make you think with that, like with me, because like when you said release music, we had a time where early era, somebody dropped a track, that song was there for a summer, longer than the summer. It rolled. Now it's an anthem every 4 months, it seemed like. Short form content. Yeah.
Once it started with IG and everything else, is right now we're wired for short form. We're wired. Our whole lives, if you notice, are wired for short form everything.
Right.
Relationships are short form. Conversations are short form. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Vacations are short form now.
Reels are short form.
Reels are short form. Everything is short form content. Our lives have been compressed. So now when I have a conversation that used to be an hour, that conversation might last 10, 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or like you see your homeboy back in the day, you know what I'm saying? You have a whole conversation because we didn't have cell phones. We didn't know what this person was doing. We didn't know what that person was doing. We would just have a conversation and catch up. But now we got short form content. Oh, we just seen old boy over here. Oh, he was just at what's name house. Oh, he was just at here. And then when you see him, yeah, but I just seen you over there at what's name house over there. What you was over there doing over there? Man, cool and true. Okay, all right, man, I'm gonna catch up with you later on. I'm gonna watch you on the stories.
Yeah.
So everything is short form. So now when you put one thing out, it's gonna be something that comes after that. It's gonna be something that comes after that. It's gonna be something that comes after that. And that's why things are not lasting that long. Because if you think about it, a lot of the songs sound the same.
So you got to reinvent yourself basically every 20 days is what you're saying.
Pretty much. And some people might say otherwise. Now, if you get into like a really big record deal situation, they kind of do it the same way. But even they have to kind of conform to that, to where you have to consistently be putting stuff out. But,
before I forget, I want to give a shout out to Capital Clothing, Conan's Barbecue, my man Mike Trigg. You already know what time it is. Hey, and my niece Priceless Scott. Oh yeah, she in the lab. She in the lab. So guess what? Glow, Lotto. What's the girl name we just said?
Sexy Red.
Sexy Red. Oh boy, she up next. Well, really, she got 9. That's how I feel. I'm off. So let that be known. Yes, sir.
Shout out to Price. She coming them hits too. What?
Hey man, y'all, man. I don't know, man. It's 50 states. 50 states in America. You hear me? But Tampa, it's just a little city with all this talent, man. Man, we got to do something different.
Has been often duplicated.
We got to do something different.
I'm like how I look at it, and I tell everybody this all the time. It's a lot of these cities, just when they caught fire, they put out enough to stay relevant. Because if you look at Memphis been hot for a long time.
Long time.
And now they just dropping all these two, but they been had 8 Ball, MJG, got it, all them boys. They been, you know, and but it's just when they did start dropping, it kept going. And I think the problem with Tampa is we need that one just because if
you can't make me believe, man, that Tommy like Priceless Thomas.
He can out-rap a lot.
Rated probably went the farthest out. Well, just artists probably went the farthest, but it's a little young girl now.
I know a name. Pitho Mansion. She her name is Brit.
She got a nice song.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Big Brit.
Big Brit. Yeah.
She got a nice song. Her Javon Blight. Man, we had so much.
The difference between Tampa and a lot of those cities is, and I gotta keep it 100. You gotta look at Memphis. Memphis before rap has added a huge history of music, so there was already people there.
Yeah.
Detroit. Has had a huge history of music. New York. All those places has had a huge history of music.
Yeah.
So there was already people in place to do that, right? Tampa has not, and I keep 100. It hasn't had like that history of music until recently. Right. You know what I'm saying?
We were just at a hip hop conference Wednesday. Me and Kat, and C. Renee was there. Shout out to C. Renee.
Shout out to C. Renee. Yeah.
And she actually just said, and it was something you did. It was something you did, and I wanted to get to you and ask you about this because we both love our city.
Yeah.
And you left, and she said you can't be afraid to leave. Like what made you just get up in one day and say, man, you know what? I'm going to the A, and I'm about to make this happen.
Man, I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave. You know what I'm saying? I had a whole argument with my ex-wife about coming up here. And at that time, I was like, I didn't want to go. But then she was like, if you're going to do this for your career, we're going to go up there. So, you know what I'm saying? Even though we've had our differences or whatever, she was one of the main reasons why I actually came up here. And so once I came up here, I had to run. Mm-hmm. So when I got up here, you know, I had to do what I had to do. The thing about it was I was very stagnant so far as music there, and it wasn't because the music wasn't good. I just felt that there was more to it, and it was something I did not know. And of course, it was the business of music that held me back there. Mm-hmm. So once I kind of got around people that taught me about the business of music, like just watching people, like being in the studio with Kevin Shakespeare Briggs, like being in the studio with Polo the Don, like being in there and witnessing how he controls the setting, and being in the studio with Shake, with how he's controlled the setting. And, you know, this guy's worked with TLC, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, you know what I'm saying? You know, during that time, and seeing how they would work the studio and how they would produce and how they would do certain deals and stuff like that. Being in there with Polo when he was working with Rich Boy at that time. Yeah. And Hit Boy and used to be in there at that time, Chasing Cash, all these guys, met Don Cannon in there at that time at Zach Studios. Seeing all that stuff, I was like, this is what I'm missing. I'm missing, it's like leaving a D1 school and going to the pros.
Yeah.
You got to be there because D1 is one thing. But going to the pros is something totally different.
Oh, different level.
And then, so now if you're a pro player and you go back, I can like, if a pro player can go back to these kids and say, I played in the pros. This is what you got to look for. This is what you got to do. Now it's on the kids to say, okay, we're going to try to take heed to this and try to learn from this, right? But the problem is when the pro players go back to these kids a lot of times is, oh, that was old. That this is new deal. This is this, that, whatever. No, the old guys still run this industry. The old guys still run this industry. Just because you don't hear about a certain name, it's a guy right now we know he only has like 2,000 followers. Nobody really knows him. But his stake in the industry is humongous. And all of the power people, all the artists know who he is, but all the common folk don't know who he is.
So this game, you would say, it ain't about who you know. It's about who know you.
Yeah,
and
that's correct.
He know you.
Yeah. That's correct.
Okay.
And they have and they kind of believe something in you.
Yeah.
Because they believe something, they'll take a conversation, they'll pick up the phone. Everybody doesn't pick up the phone for me. Not all the time, but usually if I call somebody, they'll pick up or they'll text me back or something like that. Because your value is what it is. If my value is real high, they're going to pick up. My value is low, they're not going to pick up. That's just the name of the game. You can't get mad. Man, such and such, they pick up the phone for me.
It ain't that personal.
It ain't that personal. It's just business. Because it ain't like we grew up together in the sandbox together. I met you 3 years ago.
All right, so how do you go about, like, because this is something a lot of young producers need to know. How do you go about, when you make a beat, right? Once you get the beat made, once you record the track, what's the next thing you need to do as a producer, business-wise?
The next thing you need to do, some people like, oh, get a copyright, get all this, get all that. That's true. You can do all that right now. But there's so many beats out that you can do that. The main thing you need to do is you need to find you an artist to get on that beat.
Yeah.
Make a song. Okay? You can copyright everything together. You can actually copyright a compilation of songs and pay one fee instead of paying copyright for this, that, whatever. You can do a whole compilation. But find you an artist. I tell people this all the time. Don't chase placement. Stop chasing the big artists that's already out because they already have their producers. They already have that established. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're with a big publishing company like me or something, I can send some tracks out. Find you an artist to build with. Get in the lab, find that artist, build with that artist, get some songs, and then test this one out. See how this works. Okay, we're going to try this. We're going to do some Facebook ads. We're going to do some IG ads. We're going to do this and do that. Because right now you have all the tools to make a song successful because you don't even have to deal with the middlemen anymore. You can do Facebook ads and all this and get analytics on who likes your songs and all this stuff like that. Google has all this stuff. They took the middleman completely out the picture right now. Because it's not like, shout out to all the DJ services. You still have to get that to get played in the clubs. But right now, you don't have to get stuff serviced because you can get it serviced right now on IG.
Man.
You can go through an influencer and pay them $400-$500 to play and, play that stuff on their thing. And it can go to a mass of people. That's the audience, yeah.
How you get in your, when you making new music and because it's just so many, I've seen so many times people get copyright. What mode you get yourself in to just make new music, new sounds?
It's just in me.
Yeah.
It's gotta be in you. Like, it's just like a kid who's playing sports. Yeah. If you gotta force that child to get off that couch and go outside and shoot that basketball or run those drills, that they ain't got that dog in them.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, man, we coming up on the last 5 minutes of the show, man. And it's something new that I want to try. So I got a couple of questions for you.
All right.
And you got to answer. You got to answer.
All right.
Nas or Jay-Z?
Nas.
Best diss track? Hit 'em Up, No Vaseline, or Ether?
Oh, it's different times, but I got to go with No Vaseline.
No Vaseline. Okay. Better entertainer? Taylor Swift, Beyonce?
Beyonce.
Beyonce?
Yeah.
Better dancer? Michael Jackson, Chris Brown?
Michael Jackson.
Oh, come on. Timbo, Swiss Beats.
Timbo, my guy. So Timbo.
Timbo?
Yeah.
Fried chicken or barbecue?
Barbecue.
Just because you healthy?
Yeah.
Trying to be?
Barbecue.
Barbecue. Synthetic or natural hair for your lady?
Oh, she all natural.
No natural?
Yeah. Shout out my lady. Check her out on the new movie, Who Cloned Tyrone. She's citrus. So y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
So you'll see in the, you see in the movie,
Now,
See in the
I wanna ask you
movie?
this now, because you a producer yourself. Excluding yourself, who is your Mount Rushmore of producers?
Definitely Manny Fresh.
Go DJ.
Definitely Manny Fresh. Timbaland. Dre. And this is a hard one. This is a real hard one. Real hard one. And I'm just doing all the old producers because even the new producers are very dope.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna have to say, oh man, I'm gonna have to go with DJ Toon. It was between him and
DJ Toon, what did he make? I
all
don't
the
know.
Ti stuff. All the
Oh,
T.I.
okay. Oh,
stuff.
no, early Ti stuff.
Yeah, all the T.I.
Like
stuff.
ASAP.
Yeah,
All-
yeah.
Oh,
all
yeah.
that.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
did Jay-Z Bad Guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So he out there. I'm gonna have to go and check some of his music out.
Yeah, Tuba is, yeah. It was between that and I'm a big fan of Zay.
They told me.
Yeah.
So you don't like Jazzy Faye?
Love Jazzy Faye.
But he just not on your
I said
Rushmore.
around Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore, yeah, but the Jazz is definitely dope.
All right, we just had an argument because you're a sports guy and you was a running back. Give me your top 5 running backs ever.
Oh man, of course, top 5, Eric Dickerson, and I'm gonna start talking.
Calvin Pierce, boy, you was on the song. KP, you was on the song.
Eric Dickerson.
6.
Then we gotta go, and it's, a lot of people ain't gonna like this. I gotta go Adrian Peterson.
Nah, that's a
Second.
good one.
Then I'm going to go, just because he's tall, I'm gonna go with Eddie George. Okay, I love Eddie George. I was an Eddie George fan. I'll put him at 5.
Okay.
I gotta go with Adrian.
All
I gotta
right.
go with Adrian for what he did. And then I got to go with somebody a lot of people don't know about.
Oh,
His name was Pinball. He used to play in for the Toronto Argonauts. Y'all look up Pinball.
hey, Cat, go in that my trunk and give me that drug test out of there, man. He high as hell, man. He high as hell, man. No Barry, no Emmett, no Walter.
Listen.
Yeah,
Man, you on that rap weed, man. He on something different, man.
Listen. I like tall running backs.
I know.
Okay, all right. So we did
6'3".
But you already.
we said George. We said Joe, your list.
Yeah, but it's my list. But of course, you already know about Emmett, Barry. You already know about it's so many like
Jim.
Barry. Yeah, it's too many to name. I'm just saying the people that what I used to watch.
Who you influenced
Yeah,
you.
like
Okay,
yeah.
all right, that's
I,
fair, that's
I
fair.
ain't like Barry, because every time he'll play the Bucks, he running for 300 yards.
Hey, listen, man. Good
I
thing,
ain't like that, Barry.
Good thing you ain't have to take a drug test to be a producer, because your ass wouldn't get high, man. You wouldn't get high, man. No, man. But look, man, this so great to me, and it's special to me to see brothers I came up with, man, doing great things, man. And we all come from someplace. You know what I'm saying? We all done changed it. We all better than that, man.
Yeah.
You
You cannot. It would be nice. I would not want to go out. They'd be like, "Oh, we finna go out with Chain tonight." Ah, man, I got something I got to do.
man, he crazy. Hey, don't believe that. Don't believe that. I'm an upstanding citizen.
I'm gonna tell you what. This is one man that would get into a fight and then turn around and see the lady cooking outside and say, "Yes, ma'am, sorry, ma'am, about that," and still go back in the party.
Man,
That lady said, "You was the one out there fighting too." No, I wasn't, man.
Hey, man, but it makes me proud, man. I just want to say, man, a lot of us don't say this to each other a lot. It's just me and period. Man, bro, I'm proud of you and I love you, man.
Proud of you too, man.
Hey, man,
Proud of
listen,
you.
man,
Proud of
hey.
this whole thing you got going on.
Hey, man, hey, I appreciate it. You see my man wearing the gear. You see what time it is. Crunchtime Survivors,
I'm a
baby.
Crunchtime Survivor.
You better know it, man. Stop playing, man.
Like that.
Yes, sir.